Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Dragon Warrior 1 from the Nintendo Entertainment System. Last episode, Chicken had just reached level 2. Off screen, I got up to level 4. I mainly stuck around the area just fighting the slimes and the red slimes, and the occasional Drakey. And once it got to level 3, it got a little bit easier because I was able to use the heal spell, so I was able to stay outside town a little bit longer. I wait to get to level 4 so that I can get the Stopspell. The Stopspell is your first offensive spell. You get it at level 4, and it does between 5 to 12 damage to enemies. There's going to be some monsters that can also cast Hurt on us that do 3 to 10 damage, so gotta be careful. We might run into some of those monsters a little bit later, because we're about to head a little bit further away from the castle. Once you get the Stopspell, you can start grinding in the Scorpion's Nest, because you can use your Stopspell to defeat the Scorpions. Your regular attack ain't going to do much damage to them, maybe 1 or 2. And Scorpions are pretty tough. They can have up to 20 hit points. They vary between 16 and 20 hit points. One of the interesting things about the Dragon Quest games is that enemies don't have like a standard hit points. They have a max hit points, and they can have anywhere between like 75% and 100% of that, like max hit points total. So coming up, some of these monsters that we're going to be encountering, when I put their stats in the video description, you'll notice that their hit point range varies. So yeah, the Stopspell though, like I said, 2 or 3 of them, depending on how it rolls, can take out a Scorpion. And then, like, if you get hurt, you can just go back to the castle, get your magic spells refilled by that guy, and then use your heal spell to heal yourself up, refill your magic, then go out and do hunt some more. So, Scorpions can give 12 to 15 gold and 6 experience, so much easier to level up on them than on the slimes. So, we went north here. This is our first little cave. It's called Odric's Cave, and it's the only cave in the game that doesn't have any enemies in it, so we got to see what the torch does. And we get to the second level here, and we get this tablet. I am Odric, and thou art my descendant. 3 items were needed to reach the Isle of Dragons, which is south of Brecconary. I gathered these items, reached the island, and there defeated a creature of great evil. Now I have entrusted the 3 items to 3 worthy keepers. Their descendants will protect the items until thy quest leads thee to seek them out. When a new evil arises, find the 3 items, then fight. So yeah, it just gives us a little bit of a basic plot point of what we gotta do. Gotta find 3 items. We don't know what those items are, but we'll eventually learn from just wandering around, going to towns, talking with people. So one thing I wanted to point out, I didn't point out, you'll notice that our character now has a little weapon in his right hand. Once you buy a weapon, your character will get that. It doesn't matter what weapon it is. Like we have a club, so his sprite changes and he has a sword in his hand now. Later on, when we get a shield, his sprite will change again and he'll have a little shield in his left hand. So that's pretty neat how the sprite changes. That was one of the updates that they made from the Famicom version, that was released in '86 over in Japan, to the version over here in America. They changed some of the graphics up, so including the character sprite there. It's a little more detailed. So we were told back in Brecconary to head north to the water and then head west on the shore, and we'll reach the town of Garinham. So that's our next goal. We've got another new enemy there, the Ghost. Ghost can also appear down there in that Scorpion's Nest area. In the Scorpion's Nest area, you have a 20% chance to run into ghosts, 20% chance to run into magicians. We'll see them a little later. 40% chance to run into Magidrakees, which are like those drakes, but they cast the Stopspell, and Scorpions, you have a 20% chance. So here's one of them, the Magician. They can actually cast the Stopspell on you. We got lucky there, took one out with just one Stopspell. So they have a 50% chance to use a Stopspell on you, or a 50% chance to attack you. So we're going to start running into enemies that can use spells on us. We're going to try to stay as much as we can in the grass. Remember, the grass has a lower random encounter rate than the forest, which has a lower encounter rate than the hills, and the desert. Those are the 2 that have the highest encounter rates. So Unfortunately, I'm getting some pretty low damage rolls here. Depending on how much damage you do with your Hearth spell, if you do, like, say, maybe like 9 damage, 8 to 9, then you might, after that, you can finish the Magician by whacking it with your weapon. Magician can have 10 to 13 hit points. So, that Horn spell didn't do too much damage, but, you know. So, in another kind of new area here, to the northwest of the castle, we have a 40% chance to run into red slimes, 20% chance to run into drakees, 20% chance to run into ghosts, and then a 20% chance to run into magicians. And this battle area, those percentages will also be over to the right, to the east of the desert. There is a bridge. Remember, when we cross bridges, that we get into a new enemy terrain. Garin, a wandering minstrel of legendary fame, is said to have built this town. That's why it's called Garinham. We have another tool shop here. We can buy stuff. Eventually, we're going to want to buy another torch to replace the one that we used. Torches are one-use items, and we're going to want to buy 6 herbs. But we want to use other money for other stuff first. Many believe that Princess Luna is hidden away in a cave. I have heard of one named Nestor. Does thou know of such one? I'll talk a little about Nestor in a little bit. But let's talk with the armor. We can't afford anything here. Right, well, we could, but we ain't going to buy anything right now. We'll buy some new stuff eventually then. Most of the time, I'll buy stuff I'm going to buy it on screen so you can see. Welcome to Garinham. It is said that the princess was kidnapped and taken eastward. Okay, that's one little clue. Got a door there, so we gotta make, mark down in your, like, little notes that we gotta come back here once we get some keys. So, there's a few key doors in Brecconary, a few in Tantagel Castle, and now we know there's a key door there in Garinham. So, Nestor was kind of a fictional character created for Nintendo Power. There was a comic called Howard and Nestor, and Howard was the president of the Nintendo fan club at the time, and he had this little, and he used to give like little game tricks and stuff like that, and he basically like wander around in like, Nintendo game worlds, and he'd give like little tips and tricks, in the game, for the game, that whatever world they were visiting. And Nestor was kind of his like young little sidekick who would, not necessarily always listen to Howard and his advice, and that would cause him to get into trouble, and maybe set off the adventure within the comic. So then Howard Phillips eventually left the Nintendo, and then just became Nestor's Adventures that ran for several more episodes after that. But speaking of Nintendo Power, that is how I got acquainted with the Dragon Warrior. Dragon Quest was a really big, popular game over in Japan, and they wanted to see if they could replicate that success over here in America. So Enix, translated the game, had a whole bunch of stock for the game, but it didn't really sell. By this point, like other games like Final Fantasy were out, and a lot of computer role-playing games, and this was kind of dated because, like I said, it came out like 3 years. 3 years, later than, when it was in Japan. So it felt kind of dated. And they had a big storehouse of, old, Dragon Quest games. So to get rid of them, they introduced a thing where, like, if you subscribe to Nintendo Power, you would get a free copy of Dragon Warrior. You keep saying Dragon Quest. It's Dragon Quest in Japan. Like I said, they didn't get the license to call it Dragon Quest over here because there's already another board game called Dragon Quest. So so I subscribed to Nintendo Power as a kid, and I ended up getting this game for free. I remember the day it came in the mail. My dad took us out fishing, and I didn't want to go fishing at all because I was never a fan of fishing. We took me and my older brother out fishing, and I just wanted to just get home and play Dragon Warrior because it looked so fun. I remember I took the instruction manual. It came with the instruction manual. It came with this little hint guide, like a little tiny strategy guide, and this card, this adventure guide card, that gives you like the up to level 20, your expected hit points, magic points, how much experience you need, and it gives you a bunch of stuff like spells you get at that certain level, what your goal in the game should be, your best monster to fight, recommended equipment. It's pretty neat. So I actually still have that card. I have it here with me. So, but yeah, really interesting thing. And I just took it rare, and I didn't care at all about fishing. So I just kind of sat there, threw my rod, the thing into the lake, and let the fish steal the hook, because I wasn't paying attention to it at all. I was just reading about Dragon Quest. Wanted to get home and play it. So this is how you want to level once you get the Hoot spell. You want to head down here to the bottom row of these mountains. That's that enemy terrain where you can get into 40% Magidrakee, 20% Magician, 20% Ghosts, and 20% Scorpions. And you just want to wander around here and hopefully get into, fights. Scorpions are the best fight to get into. Because most enemies will take about 2 Hoots to defeat, and Scorpions give the best golden experience. So, this Hoot's pretty cheap, only 2 magic points to cast. So you just wander around here, cast the Hoot spell. When you get low, just run back up to Tangent Castle and heal yourself up. So, next big purchase is what we want to eventually get to. We're going to keep grinding here until about level 6. And then we're going to start heading to the east. What we're going to try to grind for is we want to get about 180 gold to buy our next weapon, which would be the copper sword. That will basically double our attack. The club right now, it more than doubles our attack. Our club right now has +4 to attack. The copper sword will give +10 to attack. Most speedrunners get the copper sword, and then they don't get that until they keep that until they get the next broadsword. I'm going to be getting all the equipment in the game, like I say, because I'm 100%ing it. And unless you're like really speedrunning and you're just taking it casually, you'll get enough money to afford all the gear. So it lets me show off thing. I will eventually get the bamboo pole. There'll be a reason why. It's kind of weird, but once you get down to 1 or 0 magic points, you can't really fight the scorpions and stuff because you don't have the MP to cast Hurt. You can just come back to Tangent Castle, heal up. If you're really close to a level 5, you get at 110 experience points, so pretty close to that. 17 more experience, and I don't need too much more gold either. 5 more gold to grab the copper sword. That'll definitely increase our, like I said, more than double our attack power. It goes from 4 to 10. So you see what I did right there? I just cast the heal spell, heal myself up, then refill my magic points. So I avoid having to go to the inn to heal anymore, and I just head right back down to grinding. So, whatchamacallit, once you get the copper sword, some enemies, if you don't defeat them with the first Hoot spell, like magicians, you can just hit them once with the Hoot spell and then finish them off with the copper sword, because you're going to do a lot more damage with that than the club. Also, by that point, by the time you get the copper sword, you don't have to worry about casting the Hoot spell on ghosts or drakees anymore. Your sword will be strong enough to defeat them without wasting magic points on the Hoot spell. You can just save your Hoots for the magicians, Magidrakees, and the scorpions. Like that one guy said, hey, save your money for armor and stuff like that. We're gonna go for the offensive thing though first. Offense tends to be a little bit more favored in this game, so we want to boost our offense when we can. We will eventually end up boosting our defense though. Eventually, actually walked into town there. I'm gonna try to get into actually one more battle. You can only have one weapon equipped at a time in your inventory. So once you buy a weapon, you'll automatically sell your old weapon back. That's going to help us kind of in the next episode when it'll give us the gold we need to get another purchase. So if you're kind of short on gold, you can always kind of you need gold for a future purchase. Remember that you get some gold back when you buy a new weapon. So buy the copper sword for 180. He'll buy a club for half of its price, so 60 divided by 2 is 30. So we end up with, 30 gold. So say you wanted to use the inn now, you have enough money to do it. But like I said, there's no point using the inn now because we have the free heal, basically with our heal spell and getting our magic points refilled by that guy. So now we got the copper sword. Our offense is a little bit better, so we'll be a little bit more effective at grinding down there in the Scorpion's Nest. And that's what I'll be doing in the next episode, between episodes. I'll basically grind to level 6 in the Scorpion's Den. And then we'll head over to back to Garinham to get some stuff, and then head east to try to look for a new town. Take care, thanks for following along, have a good day. Bye.